There's a hidden vibration in your body that's shaping absolutely everything that happens in your life, and you don't even know it's there. It doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you emit without realizing. And while that frequency is active, you can work, try, make an effort, but nothing truly changes. Today, you're going to unlock the exact point where that vibration begins. And this is not a metaphor. It's a real process used by the initiates of ancient Egypt and hidden for centuries. This technique was forbidden because it instantly activates your vibrational field. And when that happens, reality begins to reorganize from the inside out. You're going to learn a practice so simple, it seems absurd. But when applied the right way, at the right moment, it reprograms the field that supports your thoughts, emotions, and results. And the most powerful part, you're going to practice it today, right here, in this video. You're going to feel a subtle difference, and at the same time, a deep one, as if something invisible were coming out from within you. Because it is. If you watch until the end, you'll discover the secret that the ancients called the point of transfiguration, the exact moment when the body, mind, and soul align with the creative sound. This is the turning point, and when it gets activated, nothing stays the same. The vibration of the all flows through every form, but only the initiate realizes it vibrates within him. If a technique is harmless, why would anyone hide it? If something doesn't work, why spend centuries trying to erase it from collective memory? The answer is simple. Because it works, and because it awakens. This vibrational practice was used in initiatic schools of Egypt, Greece, and ancient Chaldea. But it wasn't taught to common people. It was reserved for the initiates, those who had already passed through the stages of silence, observation, and self-transformation. It wasn't a secret by chance. It was a secret because those who mastered this practice stopped being part of the crowd and became a point of vibrational influence in the world. Reality around them began to adjust, not because they asked, but because they vibrated differently. And that was a problem for those who wanted control. For centuries, religious orders and institutions centralized spiritual knowledge, not to liberate, but to filter. They decided what should be called a miracle and what should be burned as heresy. Everything that placed power in the hands of the individual was systematically labeled as superstition, blasphemy, or witchcraft, and this practice was one of the first to be buried. But it wasn't completely forgotten. In initiatic alchemy, this technique reappears, disguised in symbols and metaphors. The famous process of turning lead into gold was always a coded language. The lead represents the raw state of the mind, confused, heavy, reactive. The gold represents awakened consciousness, clear, subtle, elevated. And the process that brings about this transmutation is internal vibrational work, done through conscious intention, living word, and embodied emotion. The Mutus Liber, one of the greatest visual alchemical treatises in history, has no words, only images. But if you look closely, the practice is there, represented in breaths, in circular gestures, in bodies connected to the light descending from above and fixed in the center of the heart. Every step of the process shows one thing only. Everything that is dense can be purified. Everything that is chaos can be reorganized through frequency. And that's where the danger of this wisdom lies. Because once you learn how to generate this frequency on your own, you start to step out of the game. You no longer need others' approval to feel valuable. You no longer have to seek outside what is accessible from within. You become immune to fear-based manipulation, and at that point, the system begins to lose its grip on you. Look closely. The world we live in has been structured to operate on low vibration. Fear, scarcity, guilt, comparison, urgency, Distraction. Every aspect of modern society revolves around emotional destabilization. Social media algorithms respond better to hate. Politics moves through fear. Advertising depends on your insecurity. None of this is a coincidence. It's energetic engineering, and a technique that clears this field, reorganizes the frequency, and restores clarity can't be popular. Because if it is, the game changes. When the individual begins to awaken, they begin to stop. They stop chasing, stop running, stop comparing themselves. They begin to observe, to feel, to breathe differently. And over time, their vibration begins to disturb those still living in the old pattern. Because it shows, without saying a word, that there is another way to live, that threatens the system. Because the system doesn't want you to see that you have a choice. And even so, this practice has survived. It was preserved in fragments, in oral traditions, in hermetic texts disguised as philosophy. The Corpus Hermeticum, for example, teaches that what is above is like what is below. That's not poetry. That's ancient vibrational physics. It means that the microcosm, your mind, your body, your emotions, directly influences the macrocosm, reality, circumstances, events. It's not you reacting to the world. It's the world reacting to your vibration. But for that to happen, you need to learn how to access the point of emission. And that point is not in the brain, it's in the field. An invisible but measurable field that surrounds your body, responds to your emotions, and organizes itself based on your internal state. This is the true alchemy, changing the way you vibrate to change the way life responds to you. And now that you know this technique was hidden for centuries, a new question arises. What exactly is happening inside you that makes life keep repeating the same patterns? You are emitting the wrong frequency without knowing it. This repetition, this subtle stagnation, is not a mistake of the universe. It's a direct consequence of the frequency you emit every day. But most people don't even realize they're vibrating at the wrong signal. And worse, they think they're trying hard, but they're only reinforcing the pattern that keeps them stuck. Reality doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you vibrate. And what you vibrate is a direct result of what you feel most consistently. You can say 1,000 times that you want prosperity, but if deep inside you feel fear, insecurity, doubt, your frequency is screaming scarcity. And that's what your energetic field picks up and reproduces. Because the field isn't emotional, it's mathematical. It doesn't interpret your intention, it replicates your vibration. It's like you're a radio station. If you're tuned in to 89.5, there's no point trying to hear what only plays on 105.9. The frequency you're on determines what you receive. It's that simple. This isn't punishment. It's vibrational law. A principle described precisely in the Kabbalion, the modern synthesis of Hermetic philosophy. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. You are in constant motion. Your thoughts are electromagnetic fields. Your emotions are vibrational charges. Every reaction, every belief, every recurring thought is like a code informing the universe who you are being in that moment. And it doesn't matter what you say or do consciously. If your field is out of alignment, you will attract what matches your most stable frequency. That's why so many people live in repetitive cycles. They change cities, change jobs, change relationships, and everything seems to end the same way. Because the vibration supporting their experiences stays the same. They're not living something new, they're just living a disguised version of the same pattern, and the pattern only changes when the frequency changes. But no one teaches this. Because if you understood that your vibration creates your reality, you would stop waiting for the world to change before being happy. You would change now, and that would set you free. Thoth, the scribe of the gods, recorded this in the emerald tablets. The universe responds to what is emitted from the center of the being. The heart is not just an organ, it's a transmitter. And when mind and emotion enter into coherence, the electromagnetic field expands. This has even been measured by modern scientific instruments. But the ancients already knew it. They didn't use the word frequency as we do today. They called it vibrational signature, or tone of the soul. And here's the most important point of this stage. Most people think they're vibrating love, but they're vibrating fear of not being loved. They think they're vibrating abundance, but they're vibrating desperation for money. They think they're vibrating freedom, but they're vibrating escape. The confusion between intention and vibration is what most blocks people's fields. Because the field doesn't respond to what you think occasionally. It responds to what you feel consistently. And when that feeling is unconscious, meaning programmed since childhood, it becomes a dominant frequency, like a background noise you don't hear anymore. But that's playing all the time. That's why some people seem to have constant bad luck, while others experience positive coincidences all the time. It's not luck, it's tuning. But precision requires the right timing. And there is a specific moment when the field is more open, more sensitive, more vulnerable to vibrational reprogramming. This moment happens every single day, no exceptions, but almost no one knows this, and those who do rarely use it consciously. This portal doesn't require faith. It doesn't require deep meditation. It happens naturally between wakefulness and sleep. It's when the body starts to relax, the logical mind quiets, and the brain shifts frequency. Science calls this state hypnagogic. It's the liminal zone between being awake and starting to sleep. And what happens there isn't just relaxation, it's pure reprogramming. When you enter this state, your brain waves move out of the beta pattern, which is the state of alertness, logic, and analysis, and begin to shift into alpha, then theta. In these frequencies, the conscious mind loses strength, the inner critic disappears, and the subconscious, which shapes more than 90% of your reality, becomes completely receptive. It stops filtering. It accepts. Now think with me. Everything you feel in this moment is recorded as truth. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. If you fall asleep feeling fear, worry, anger, or resentment, that is absorbed as a direct command. And your vibrational field, the next day, already starts operating from that. That's why so many people wake up tired, anxious, heavy, even after hours of sleep. They didn't rest vibrationally. They fed chaos before closing their eyes. But if this moment is capable of recording limiting patterns, it can also install new codes, and that's where everything changes. The Egyptians knew this thousands of years ago. They called this sacred transition the crossing of the gate of Ma'at, the goddess of order, balance, and vibrational justice. The initiate was trained to recognize this state not as a simple moment before sleep, but as a real spiritual opportunity, a daily chance to rewrite one's own vibration. In the temples of Heliopolis, this practice was done with mantras, mental imagery, and breath. Nothing external, nothing exaggerated, everything internal. Because in this state, the simple becomes powerful, the light becomes deep, and what you think turns into what you feel, and what you feel turns into what you vibrate. The Corpus Hermeticum, one of the core texts of Hermeticism, describes this instant as the point where the soul touches the spirit before falling asleep in the body. This means that, for a brief moment, you stop identifying with your roles, your problems, your masks, and you touch something pure, silent, creative, the core of your vibrational field. You are about to feel the first sign of reprogramming. When you start using this portal with awareness, something changes. It's not positive thinking. It's not a mental technique. It's a frequency. It's as if your entire body begins to respond from the inside out. And to feel this now, you only need one simple, direct, but deeply transformative gesture. Take a deep breath. But not just any breath. Breathe as if it's a calling, as if the air itself is offering you a new pattern. Inhale through your nose with intention, as if you're pulling in light from space, as if something invisible is being activated within you. Now hold that air for 3 seconds. 3 seconds of total presence. 3 seconds of cellular recalibration. 3 seconds where everything reorganizes. And as you exhale, release it all. Through your mouth. Release the weight of the day, the fear inherited over the years, the anxiety you don't even know the source of. Let it out. Feel this air carrying away the noise of the world, as if your breath were a key opening space for what truly matters. In this silent space, firmly visualize, I am a vibrational field of power, confidence, and abundance. Everything is already within me. But repeat it with real emotion, as if this were the last sentence you could say today, as if it were the only command the universe will hear from now on. Don't say it just to say it. Feel it, as if every cell in your body were listening too. As if this statement echoed beyond your skin, across your vibrational field, across time, reprogramming the invisible. Because, in truth, it is. True alchemy begins exactly here. The ancient masters knew that creation doesn't start in matter, but in the word. The word is not just sound, it is a vibrational form. It shapes the invisible before the visible can respond. When you say something with intention, you're not just convincing yourself, you're organizing particles. In Egyptian tradition, initiates chanted sacred words not as symbolic rituals, but as vibrational engineering. Each syllable was considered a living frequency. In the Corpus Hermeticum, creation is described as a sound that vibrates before anything exists. And that sound is not external. It is internal. It is the sound of what you believe about yourself. It is the sound of what you emit when you are silent. The alchemists called this the vibrational word, the beginning of the great inner work. And this work begins the moment you declare something new from a state of true presence. When you don't speak to try to convince the universe, you speak because you already know it's true. And you know what happens when this is done at the right moment, in the right state, with real intention? You feel it. You don't need to wait years. You feel it now. The air feels different. The body relaxes. The thoughts slow down. And something you can't explain begins to pulse inside you with more clarity. It's not a miracle. It's not magic. It's vibration in action. It's the new frequency beginning to organize the field around you. And this is just the beginning. And when you access this vibrational state, even for a few seconds, you open a gap, a subtle crack between what seemed fixed and what can be redesigned. But this portal doesn't sustain itself. It needs structure. It needs a foundation. And this is where the 3 pillars of real vibrational reprogramming come in. The first force is the word, but not just any word, the word with intention. In Hermeticism, it's considered a seal, a code that gives form to energy. The spoken sound is the first manifestation of creation. It is the creative word. It is the original sound that organizes chaos. When Thoth spoke of the eternal records of the soul, he made it clear. Every thought that becomes word echoes in layers of time that the eyes cannot reach. That's why speaking with truth is not just communicating, it's building. The second force is emotion. This is the frequency that accelerates the recording. Without emotion, the word is a dead letter. But with emotion, it becomes alchemical fire. Emotion is pure electricity. It's the energy that convinces the vibrational field that something is real even before it becomes matter. In alchemical texts, this is described as the marriage of sulfur and mercury, the heat of passion with the fluidity of the word. When sincere feeling carries the right word, the universe doesn't respond, it reorganizes. And the third force is breath, the vital breath, the pneuma, the bridge between the visible and the invisible. In Egyptian tradition, breath was considered the sacred channel between the Ba, the individual soul, and the Ka, the universal vital energy. Breathing with awareness is like opening internal windows through which light enters. It's like allowing vibrational sound and emotion to flow through the entire subtle body, activating centers that had been dormant. Every inhale is an entry, every exhale a release. These three elements together form the sacred triad: word, emotion, and breath. Or, as described in the oldest Hermetic formula, spirit, soul, and body. This triple coherence is what opens the so-called inner eye, an activation that is not symbolic, it's vibrational. It is this eye that perceives before the fact, that sees the field before the event, that feels reality before it happens. The forbidden technique: word plus emotion plus breath. Now that the three pillars are aligned, the time has come to enter the core of the practice. The forbidden technique, the turning point, what was hidden, silenced, and distorted for centuries, but is now right in front of you. Simple, direct, and deeply transformative. Sit or lie down. It doesn't matter where, as long as you can be fully present in the moment. Relaxed body, comfortable spine, absolute presence. Nothing else matters now except what you are about to activate. Close your eyes and allow the world to disappear for a moment. Inhale deeply through your nose, but visualize, feel, imagine a golden light passing through the top of your head as if it were a sunbeam coming straight from the sky. This light isn't imaginary. It's a vibrational representation of the entry point of subtle energy. Let this light in. Feel it touching your center. Hold this breath for 3 seconds. 3 seconds of conscious suspension, as if you were standing on the threshold between the old and the new. This moment of holding is the space of realignment, where the decision is made not with the mind, but with the field. Exhale slowly through your mouth, but this time, let it all go. Let go of fear. Let go of urgency. Let go of doubt. Let go of the need to control, and allow the body to enter a state of openness, a state where the new frequency can finally be anchored. Now, as you breathe in this flow, repeat with the voice of your soul: I am a vibrational field of power, confidence, and abundance. Everything is already within me. Repeat this phrase 6 times, with emotion, but not just emotion. Repeat it as someone who is declaring a new reality, as someone who is returning to their own center, as someone who knows this is not just any statement. It's a code, a vibrational seal. Do this for at least 1 minute, because in this minute, something shifts. A frequency begins to settle like a seed, not as a mental idea, but as an energetic reality. You might feel chills, you might feel lightness, you might feel silence, or you might feel absolutely nothing. But something will be happening, because vibration responds to coherence. Thoth taught that what is within you can be awakened with the right sound at the right moment. And this is the moment. This practice is a modern adaptation of the ancient ritual of the Golden Point mentioned in manuscripts attributed to the Book of Thoth. There, The creative sound was not chanted as a mantra, but embodied. The vibration wasn't invoked, it was incarnated. But here is the essential point. Vibration, no matter how powerful, fades if it's not sustained. It doesn't hold just from one moment of inspiration. It needs continuity. It needs a daily vibrational structure. Otherwise, you return to the previous pattern. Like an untrained muscle, it weakens. And that's why now, you will learn the 5 rituals that sustain this new reality. You have activated a new vibrational field, and that activation was real. But without consistency, this field dissolves like mist. It starts strong, but fades under the pressure of the external world if you don't nourish it from the inside out. And this is where the rituals come in. The first is the most important of all, the night ritual. It seals the frequency before sleep. It's like a final code that tells your subconscious, this is the vibration I want to anchor while I rest. Because during sleep, the energetic field is more accessible. It's as if the soul detaches from density and freely navigates the field of creation. What you imprint before sleeping echoes for hours in the invisible. The second ritual is the morning ritual. Waking up is not just physical, it's energetic. The first thing you feel, think, or do when you open your eyes sets the vibrational tone of your day. And this can align you with the new field, or trap you in the old one. The morning ritual is the reactivation of what was sealed at night. The third is coherent action, because vibration without action becomes illusion. You need to make choices, take decisions, say yes and say no in alignment with the field you want to maintain. Every action is a vibrational anchor. Coherence is true alchemy in the real world. The fourth is intentional vibrational elevation. It can be through art, music, silence, nature. Anything that expands you, elevates you, and every time you elevate, you reaffirm, I am this new frequency. The fifth is surrender, vibrational trust, knowing that the field is already at work even when nothing seems to have changed, because physical reality is slow. It responds with delay, but vibration doesn't. It is now. And to trust is to vibrate as if it were already real, before seeing it with your eyes. These 5 rituals are the roots that keep alive the seed you just planted. The ritual that programs your field while you sleep. This is exactly why the first ritual is considered the most sacred among the initiates. It happens in the one moment when the ego relaxes and the subconscious fully opens. There is no logical interference, there are no rational filters, just the receptive field, waiting for a vibrational command. Before going to sleep, turn off the lights. Let the environment be silent, or have a soft sound that evokes serenity. Sit for a moment on the bed, or lie down with your spine slightly extended. Gently close your eyes. Enter a gradual state of relaxation. Nothing forced, just presence. Now, repeat the technique you've already learned. Deep breathing, golden light visualized descending through the top of your head. Intentional breath holding. Long exhale. Meanwhile, the familiar phrase becomes your command mantra. But this time, with even more genuine emotional charge. Because at night, you dissolve the resistances built up during the day. At night, you silently reinterpret everything you've experienced, and then, without rushing, visualize. But visualize as someone who's already there. Don't imagine it as a distant wish. Feel yourself inside the scene. See yourself walking with confidence. Notice your environment already transformed. Interact with people as someone who already recognizes themselves in this new reality. Observe the details carefully. The colors, the sounds, the smells, the facial expressions, the clothes you're wearing, the feeling of your skin, the wind, the warmth. Don't leave anything vague. Make everything come alive. This is the moment when the mental image merges with the emotion, and emotion is the language of the unconscious. That's what cuts through the rational layers. That's what reaches the vibrational athanor of your inner field, the secret furnace where transformation happens in the dark, the same one the alchemists called opus nigrum, the black work, the invisible womb where seeds are planted and begin to sprout. And when you fall asleep in this state, the new vibration stays active. While the body rests, the field reorganizes. While the eyes sleep, the subtle geometry of your being begins to spin in a new pattern. And then, effortlessly, upon waking, something will already have changed. It might not be immediately visible. It might come as a light feeling, a quiet intuition, or an unexpected synchronicity. But it will be real, because the field has already responded. The invisible has already moved. Now it's time to maintain it. You've already started the transformation. It's no longer an idea, it's a frequency. The field has been activated, the seed has been planted, the code has been recorded. The vibration is flowing through the layers of your energetic body like a silent river breaking through the crust of scarcity. And in this moment, more than intensity, you need consistency. Even if only for 2 minutes, even if in total silence, eyes closed, conscious breathing, and full emotion. If you repeat this truthfully for 7 days, just 7, something will begin to happen. The impossible will stop feeling so far away, and the unlikely will start to feel familiar. Small manifestations will appear in daily life as signs. You'll start to behave differently. You'll start to react differently. You'll begin to vibrate like someone who has already left the old field. If you've made it this far, it's because something inside you has already started to awaken. And that's no coincidence. So comment below, "My vibration has already started to change." I want to know who is truly feeling this transformation. And if you want to directly support this channel and help spread this vibrational wisdom around the world, there's a support link right there in the first pinned comment. Your help makes all the difference so that this message can reach those who truly need it. And don't leave the video just yet. A special piece of content has been set aside right here on the screen for you to continue this journey with us. It's the next step in your activation. Click the video on the screen and we'll meet you there.